Companies often face a choice with their profits: either reinvest in the business, pay dividends, or buy back shares. A share buyback happens when a company purchases its own shares from shareholders in the open market. The effect? These shares are then taken out of circulation, which means fewer shares available in the market. The strategy behind this is simple: return value to shareholders, show confidence in the company's strength, boost earnings per share since profits are divided among fewer shares, improve return on equity by reducing total equity, signal to investors that management believes the shares are undervalued. For shareholders who stay invested, buybacks often mean their slice of the pie gets bigger without them doing anything. Now let's define a key concept: treasury shares. When a company buys back shares, these shares go into a special category called treasury shares. They appear in the equity section of the balance sheet as a negative line, known as a contra-equity account. For example, when Nestlé repurchases its own shares, they are recorded under treasury shares. In 2022, this line reached 9.3 billion francs, directly reducing the company's total equity. Treasury shares don't receive dividends and don't carry voting rights. They are excluded from the number of outstanding shares used to calculate earnings per share or dividends, but they still exist legally and can be reissued or cancelled later on. But Nestlé goes a step further. Instead of keeping shares in treasury, Nestlé has a clearer strategy. It cancels them. When shares are cancelled, they are permanently retired, meaning they are removed from the company's books and share capital, not just from market circulation. Share capital decreases by the nominal value of the cancelled shares. This is not symbolic. It's a consistent strategy. Nestlé uses buybacks not as temporary parking, but as a long-term way to shrink the share base. This has a few accounting effects. Share capital decreases by the nominal value of the cancelled shares. The treasury shares account is cleared. The difference between what the company paid and the nominal value is taken from reserves or retained earnings. The result is simple but powerful. Fewer shares exist permanently, which means each remaining share represents a larger ownership stake in the company. Some companies like Nestlé apply this consistently, using buybacks not as a temporary parking, but as a long-term strategy to shrink the share base and enhance shareholder value. Let's connect this to the balance sheet. When a company uses cash to buy back shares, its equity decreases. So with the same profit and lower equity, the return on equity can increase. Over time, Nestlé's equity shrunk from about 53 billion francs in 2021 to 42 billion francs in 2022, a sharp reduction, largely driven by buybacks and cancellations. This makes Nestlé's balance sheet leaner, more efficient from a shareholder return perspective, but also more leveraged in relative terms. Let's see the impact on the earnings per share. For example, the company with 7 million profit has 4 million shares outstanding. Its earnings per share before buyback is 1.75 euro. After buyback, the profit still 7 million, and with 3 million shares outstanding, the earnings per share will be boosted to 2.3 euro per share. So even if profits stay exactly the same, reducing the number of shares increases earnings per share. Here's why. Before the buyback, 7 million of profit was divided among 4 million shares. that's 1.75 per share. After the buyback, the same 7 million profit is now spread over just 3 million shares. Each share now earns 2.3 euro. The company looks more profitable per share, even though the total profit hasn't changed. So what is the strategy behind this? Nestlé is a mature company. It generates strong cash flow, but has few opportunities for explosive growth. Instead of holding excess cash, it returns value to shareholders through dividends and aggressive buybacks. By cancelling shares, Nestlé ensures that the effect is permanent. EPS and ROE improvements last, and future dividends are shared among fewer shares. This is why buybacks have become a central part of Nestlé's capital allocation strategy since 2018. Nestlé's case is one of the largest and most systematic buyback and cancellation programs in Europe, with more than 30 billion spent since 2020. Now that you understand how share buybacks work, the next step is seeing how they are used in real companies. In my Power BI financial analysis series, I analyze how share buyback programs influence a company's capital allocation, financial structure, shareholder returns, and long-term value creation. If you would like to see these concepts applied in practice, I invite you to explore the full financial analysis series.